Welcome to your channel name. Glowing Star. In today's video, we'll explore the story behind the United States of America $quarter coin. It's one of the most used coins in America. But did you know it also hides a world of history, design, and even potential value for collectors? History and details. The $quarter has been around since 1796, and it has seen many iconic designs. From the standing Liberty quarters of the early 1900s to the Washington quarters that began in 1932, every quarter tells a unique story. Inscriptions like United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum are more than just words. They're symbols of America's heritage. Why it's special. Quarters are especially exciting because of the 50-state quarters program and later the America the Beautiful series, which turned everyday change into a collectible journey through U.S. history and culture. Got it? Thumbs up. You're asking about the 1987 D Washington $quarter with the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, Liberty, In God We Trust, $quarter. Here's a long, detailed explanation in paragraph style, designed to last about 10 minutes when read aloud, packed with historical background, design details, and collector insights. The 1987 D Washington $quarter is a fascinating coin that represents both continuity and change in the long-running Washington quarter series. Struck at the Denver Mint in 1987, as indicated by the small D mint mark on the obverse, this coin belongs to the classic Washington quarter design type that had been in use since 1932. The obverse features the well-known portrait of the first U.S. President, George Washington, facing left. This iconic portrait was originally created by sculptor John Flanagan and chosen for the coin in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. By 1987, it had already been a familiar sight in American pockets for more than 50 years, symbolizing both stability and national pride. Surrounding Washington's bust are the inscriptions Liberty above his head and In God We Trust to the left, while the date 1987 appears at the bottom, accompanied by the D mint mark just behind Washington's ponytail. The reverse design of the 1987 D quarter also carries rich symbolism. At its center is a proud bald eagle, the national bird of the United States, standing with wings spread wide in a powerful stance. The eagle clutches a bundle of arrows in its talons, signifying military strength and readiness to defend freedom, while beneath it lies an olive branch, representing the nation's desire for peace. Above the eagle's head is the motto E Pluribus Unum, meaning out of many, one, a reminder of the unity of the states into one nation. Encircling this central image are the inscriptions United States of America across the top and $quarter at the bottom, declaring both the coin's country of origin and its denomination. This balanced design conveys the dual nature of American identity, a nation that values peace yet stands ready to defend its liberty. Technically, the 1987 D Washington quarter is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, the same durable alloy that has been used in U.S. dimes, quarters, and half dollars since 1965. The coin has a standard weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a reeded edge. While not precious in metal content, the coin was designed to be highly durable and suited for daily commerce. The Denver Mint struck a very large number of these coins, 655,594,696 pieces in total. With such a high mintage, the 1987 D quarter is considered common in circulation, and millions remain in everyday use today, more than 35 years after they were struck. However, what makes the 1987 D quarter more interesting to collectors is not rarity in circulation but condition and context. Unlike earlier decades, the mid to late 1980s saw fewer U.S. mint sets produced by collectors, which meant that uncirculated examples from this era were saved in lower numbers compared to other years. For this reason, finding pristine, uncirculated 1987 D quarters can be trickier than it might seem, and high-grade coins certified by grading services such as PCGS or NGC often command strong premiums. Most circulated examples have the typical wear, flattened hair details on Washington's portrait, surface scratches, and duller luster. But coins in mint state, particularly in grades MS-65 or higher, are considerably scarcer and more desirable. Prices in these grades can range from $20 to $100 depending on strike sharpness, luster, and overall eye appeal. Superb examples with deep, original mint luster and no noticeable marks are even more prized, sometimes crossing into the hundreds of dollars. Another important aspect of the 1987 D quarter is its place in the broader timeline of American coinage. This coin was issued before the state quarters program, which began in 1999 and completely transformed the look of U.S. quarters. Thus, the 1987 D belongs to the last chapter of the classic eagle reverse design that had been unchanged since 1932. For many collectors, it represents the old-style Washington quarter, a design that had become an enduring symbol of American coinage. When the new designs replaced it, the earlier quarters like the 1987 D took on added historical value, serving as reminders of a more traditional era in U.S. coinage. The coin also carries strong symbolic meaning in its inscriptions. Liberty, above Washington's head, is not only a word but a statement of principle, reflecting the very foundation of the United States since its independence in 1776. In God We Trust embodies the nation's spiritual and cultural heritage, and its presence on the coin reflects a value system that has guided American life for generations. Meanwhile, E pluribus unum, on the reverse, highlights the unity of many diverse states forming one federal nation. Each of these words, combined with the images of Washington and the eagle, creates a powerful miniature artwork that embodies the ideals of the United States. Collectors and historians alike view the 1987 D quarter as a coin that bridges tradition with transition. On one hand, it is common and accessible, often found in circulation even today, which makes it a fun and affordable piece for new collectors. On the other hand, it offers opportunities for advanced collectors who seek pristine examples, unusual errors, or high-grade survivors. Error coins from 1987 D, such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, or double dies, are particularly valuable, as they are rare and can turn an otherwise common quarter into a significant find. Culturally, the coin also serves as a reminder of the everyday economy of the 1980s, an era before electronic payments dominated transactions. Quarters like the 1987 D were essential for vending machines, payphones, laundromats, and arcade games, embedding them into daily American life. For people who grew up in that decade, handling a 1987 D quarter today might bring back memories of those experiences. In conclusion, the 1987 D Washington quarter dollar may seem ordinary at first glance due to its high mintage and continued presence in circulation, but beneath its common surface lies a story of American tradition, symbolism, and collectible interest. It embodies the ideals of liberty, trust, unity, and strength through its inscriptions and imagery. For collectors, it offers both an accessible starting point and a challenge in finding high-grade examples. And for history enthusiasts, it represents a snapshot of American coinage in the years just before the dramatic changes of the state quarters program. Whether found in pocket change or preserved in mint condition, the 1987 D quarter continues to tell a lasting story of America's heritage and values. Perfect thumbs up. Let's dive into the 1966 Washington quarter, though I'll point something out first. There is no mint mark on U.S. coins dated 1965, 1966, or 1967. That means even though you mentioned 1966 D, the Denver Mint's mark D was not used that year. All 1966 quarters look the same whether struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, because the mint suspended mint marks during those years to discourage coin hoarding. Still, I'll give you the full 10-minute detailed explanation in one long narrative paragraph style, just as you asked. The 1966 Washington quarter dollar is one of the most historically significant pieces of modern U.S. coinage, not because of rarity or special design, but because it reflects a turbulent era of change in America's monetary system. At first glance, the coin bears the familiar inscriptions, United States of America, across the top of the reverse, E pluribus unum, just above the eagle, quarter dollar, at the bottom, and on the obverse, Liberty, above George Washington's head, In God We Trust, to the left, and the date 1966 at the bottom. The design, by sculptor John Flanagan, had been in use since 1932, honoring the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. Washington faces left in a dignified portrait, his hair tied back in the classical colonial style, while the reverse shows the bold image of a heraldic eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows that symbolize military strength and readiness, resting above an olive branch that represents America's desire for peace. Although the coin looks similar to earlier issues, its composition tells the real story of change. The 1966 quarter was struck not in silver, but in a copper-nickel-clad alloy, a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This shift away from silver had just begun the year before, in 1965, after the Coinage Act of 1965 permanently removed silver from circulating dimes and quarters. Rising silver prices and nationwide coin shortages had forced the U.S. Mint to adopt base metals, and by 1966, the Washington quarter became one of the first modern clad coins, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters across, with a reeded edge. Because of this, 1966 is remembered as part of the turning point in American coinage history when precious metal coinage gave way to the clad era we still use today. Adding to its uniqueness, the Mint also suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 through 1967 to discourage collectors from saving large numbers of new coins. This was meant to ease the coin shortage caused by people hoarding silver coins, especially as the switch to clad became known. As a result, number 1966 quarters carry the D or S mint marks, even though coins were indeed struck in Denver and San Francisco. All 1966 quarters look identical, making them one of the few years in U.S. history where the mint of origin is completely unmarked. From a production standpoint, the 1966 Washington quarter was minted in huge numbers to meet demand. The U.S. Mint produced over 821 million quarters that year, a massive mintage for its time, ensuring that the coin is extremely common in circulation even decades later. Because of this, the 1966 quarter has little rarity value in average circulated grades and typically trades only for face value, though it carries tremendous historical importance. For collectors, condition is everything when it comes to the 1966 quarter. Most of these coins circulated heavily during the 1960s and 1970s, so examples often show flattened hair details on Washington's portrait, scratches from daily use, and dull, lifeless surfaces. Uncirculated coins with bright original luster are much scarcer, especially those free of contact marks. Gem-quality pieces in mint state 65 or better are more desirable, with prices ranging from $20 to $100 depending on eye appeal, while superb coins in grades MS 66 or MS 67 can command higher premiums, sometimes several $100s, due to their scarcity. Proof-like coins, or those with attractive toning, are especially sought after. Although the Mint did not produce standard proof sets in 1966, it did strike a special issue called the Special Mint Set, SMS, which contained higher quality examples of the year's coinage, including the quarter. SMS quarters from 1966 are known for their sharper strikes and better finishes compared to circulation strikes, and coins with deep cameo contrast between frosted designs and mirrored fields are highly collectible. These sets were only available directly from the Mint and were produced in limited numbers compared to circulation coins, making SMS examples the premium form of the 1966 quarter. Symbolically, the inscriptions on the coin carry the timeless American values. Liberty boldly reminds the holder of the nation's founding principles. In God We Trust reflects the enduring role of faith and tradition in American society, while E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, represents the unity of the states into a single nation. These words, paired with Washington's image and the eagle on the reverse, create a coin that is as much about national identity as it is about commerce. The removal of silver in 1965 and its continuation in 1966 marked the end of an era, but the ideals on the quarter remained unchanged, keeping a link between America's past and its present. Today, the 1966 Washington quarter serves as both a common coin of the clad era and a piece of numismatic history. For casual collectors, it is an inexpensive way to own part of the story of America's transition away from silver. For more advanced numismatists, it offers challenges in finding high-grade circulation strikes or cameo-finished SMS issues. Here's the full detailed explanation in long paragraph form about the 1989 D Washington quarter dollar, designed to run about 10 minutes when read aloud, packed with history, design, minting details, and collector value. The 1989 D Washington quarter dollar is a classic piece of modern American coinage that carries the familiar design which millions of people in the United States grew up using every day, while also marking its own place in the long timeline of the Washington quarter series. Struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse, this coin belongs to the era before the massive design changes of the 1999 to 2008 state quarters program, meaning it represents the final years of the traditional eagle reverse that had been in use since 1932. The obverse of the coin features the left-facing portrait of George Washington, America's first president, sculpted by John Flanagan and introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Around this dignified bust are the inscriptions Liberty, positioned above, In God We Trust, to the left, and the date 1989 directly below. The reverse shows a bold heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows that represent the nation's readiness to defend itself, while resting above an olive branch that symbolizes the desire for peace. At the top is the inscription, United States of America. Just below it the motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, and at the bottom, the denomination, quarter dollar. Together, these inscriptions and symbols reflect both America's proud history and its guiding ideals of liberty, unity, trust, and peace backed by strength. From a technical standpoint, the 1989 D quarter was struck in the standard copper-nickel clad composition that had been used since 1965, after silver was removed from circulating dimes and quarters. Each coin has a weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a reeded edge. The outer layers consist of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin its familiar silvery color but without precious metal content. Because of its hard-wearing composition, the coin was designed for daily commerce in vending machines, parking meters, payphones, and arcade games, all of which were still widely used in the late 1980s. The Denver Mint struck a massive 896,535,597 quarters in 1989, making this one of the highest mintages in the Washington Quarter Series up to that point. This enormous production ensured that the 1989 D quarter is extremely common in circulation, even decades later, and it can still occasionally be found in pocket change today. In terms of collector value, most 1989 D quarters are worth only their face value of 25 cents in circulated condition due to their abundance. However, condition plays a crucial role in determining which examples stand out. Circulated pieces typically show wear on Washington's hair and cheek, with surface scratches and loss of luster. But uncirculated coins, especially those preserved from original U.S. mint sets, can show brilliant mint luster and sharp details. In higher mint state grades such as MS 65 and above, the 1989 D quarter becomes significantly scarcer, and certified examples can sell for $20 to $100 depending on strike quality and eye appeal. At the top end, near-perfect coins in MS 67 or MS 68 are very rare and can bring several $100s at auction, since few coins survived without bag marks or abrasions due to the huge volume of production. Proof-like or unusually well-struck examples are also attractive to specialists, though the Denver Mint did not produce proof coins. Those came only from San Francisco. The 1989 D Washington Quarter also holds historical interest because of its position near the end of the traditional eagle reverse era. In just a decade, the quarter would undergo its biggest transformation with the State Quarters program, which introduced 50 different reverse designs beginning in 1999. The 1989 D therefore represents one of the last classic quarters before the flood of modern commemorative issues, making it a nostalgic piece for collectors who remember the simpler, uniform look of quarters before that major change. It also marks a continuation of the Mint's focus on mass production during the 1980s, when coinage demand was high, and billions of coins were struck annually to meet the needs of a growing economy. The inscriptions on the coin carry enduring symbolic weight. The word liberty honors the central principle upon which the nation was founded in 1776, and its placement above Washington's portrait underscores the values he defended during the Revolutionary War and his presidency. The motto "In God We Trust" reflects the spiritual foundation and cultural traditions of the United States, while E pluribus unum emphasizes national unity despite diversity. Paired with the eagle, arrows, and olive branch, these inscriptions create a small but powerful reminder of the balance between peace and strength, unity and liberty, ideals that have defined the American identity for centuries. For collectors today, the 1989 D quarter is both approachable and interesting. It is affordable enough for beginners, often found in circulation, yet challenging enough at the highest grades to appeal to advanced numismatists. It also carries nostalgia for people who grew up in the 1980s and 1990s, when quarters like the 1989 D were used daily in laundromats, soda machines, payphones, and video arcades, cultural icons of the time. For that reason, it is more than just a piece of money. It is a little snapshot of American life in the late 20th century. In conclusion, while the 1989 D Washington quarter dollar is not rare in everyday circulated condition, it holds great significance as a representative of the pre-state quarter era, as a symbol of enduring American ideals, and as a collectible coin with hidden challenges at the highest grades. Its massive mintage reflects the coinage needs of its time, its design carries the legacy of George Washington and national symbols, and its role in everyday commerce ties it to the lived experiences of an entire generation. Whether held as a simple piece of change, preserved in mint condition, or collected as part of a complete Washington quarter set. The 1989 D quarter tells a story of tradition, history, and the ongoing journey of American coinage. Here's a long, detailed narrative in paragraph style about the 1980 D Washington quarter dollar, carefully written to last around 10 minutes when read aloud, full of history, design features, technical details, and collector insights. The 1980 D Washington quarter dollar is a widely recognized piece of American coinage, struck at the Denver Mint and identified by the small D mint mark placed just to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary coin, one that circulated heavily throughout the 1980s, but a closer look reveals that it carries deep symbolic meaning and occupies an important place in the broader history of the Washington quarter series. The obverse features the famous portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, facing left, a design originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932. This portrait was chosen to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth and had by 1980 become one of the most enduring images in American numismatics. Surrounding the bust are the inscriptions Liberty across the top and In God We Trust to the left of Washington's profile, with the date 1980 appearing below. The reverse design, in use since the beginning of the series in 1932, shows a bold heraldic eagle with wings outstretched, standing firmly on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and the nation's readiness to defend its freedom, while below the eagle rests an olive branch, symbolizing peace. Above the eagle's head is the motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, while circling the design are the inscriptions United States of America at the top and quarter dollar at the bottom. Together, these design elements create a powerful and timeless statement about America's values of liberty, unity, strength, peace, and faith. From a technical perspective, the 1980 D Washington quarter was struck in the copper nickel-clad composition that had become standard since 1965, after rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to remove silver from circulating quarters and dimes. The coin is composed of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving it a silvery appearance but no precious metal value. Each coin weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge. This durable composition allowed quarters like the 1980 D to circulate heavily for decades, making them a workhorse of U.S. commerce. Quarters in this era were crucial in everyday life, used in vending machines, payphones, laundromats, arcade games, parking meters, and countless small transactions that defined daily American experiences in the 1980s. The Denver Mint produced a staggering number of these coins, with a total mintage of 518,327,487 pieces in 1980. This massive output ensured that the 1980 D quarter was extremely common in circulation and remains plentiful even today. Because of its high mintage, most examples have little to no premium above face value in circulated grades. However, for collectors, the real interest lies in the quality of surviving examples. Circulated coins usually show significant wear, with Washington's hair details flattened, the cheekbone smoothed, and numerous small scratches from daily use. In contrast, uncirculated coins that were preserved in original U.S. mint sets or saved from bankrolls display sharp detail, strong mint luster, and attractive surfaces. High-grade mint state examples, particularly those graded MS 65 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can bring $20 to $50, while superb gems in MS 67 are quite rare and may sell for several $100s. Truly exceptional examples with outstanding luster or unique rainbow toning can command even higher premiums at auction. Errors and varieties also add intrigue to the 1980 D Washington quarter. As with most high mintage coins, striking errors such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or double strikes occasionally appear and are highly collectible. Some double-die obverse or reverse varieties have been reported for the 1980 D as well, though they are not as well known or widely collected as in other years. For specialists, these error coins transform an otherwise common quarter into a highly desirable numismatic treasure. Beyond its technical details and collector appeal, the 1980 D quarter also has cultural and historical significance. It was issued during a period of transition in American society, the dawn of a new decade that would see dramatic changes in technology, politics, and culture. While the coin's design had been in place since 1932, by the 1980s there were already discussions in numismatic circles about refreshing America's circulating coinage with new designs. Less than 2 decades later, the Washington quarter would undergo its most dramatic transformation with the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. That makes coins like the 1980 a representative of the final era of classic Washington quarters with the eagle reverse, a design that by then had been in circulation for almost 50 years. For people who grew up in the 1980s and 1990s, the 1980 quarter evokes nostalgia, reminding them of simpler times when coins were still heavily used in everyday life, long before debit cards, smartphones, and digital payments dominated transactions. The inscriptions on the coin also remind us of America's ideals. The word liberty reflects the foundation of the nation and the reason for its independence, while in God we trust emphasizes the role of faith and cultural tradition in American life. The reverse motto, E pluribus unum, speaks to the unity of many states forming one nation, a principle as relevant in 1980 as in 1932 when the quarter design was first introduced. Paired with Washington's portrait, a man who embodied leadership, sacrifice, and the defense of liberty, and the eagle holding both arrows and olive branch, the coin serves as a miniature symbol of America's balance of peace and strength. In conclusion, the 1980 Washington quarter dollar may be common in sheer numbers, but it holds enduring significance as both a circulating coin and a collectible. For the average person, it was simply pocket change used for daily necessities, but for historians and collectors, it tells the story of America's coinage after the removal of silver, the enduring legacy of the Washington quarter design, and the cultural moment of the early 1980s. Its massive mintage means that most examples are easily found, but in high grades, rare varieties, or attractively toned conditions, the coin becomes much more desirable. More than just money, the 1980 quarter is a piece of living history, one that continues to pass through hands, drawers, and collections, carrying with it the ideals of liberty, trust, unity, and national